right now. Today is the day that you choose to change the rest of your life. It is time to turn your setback into the greatest comeback story ever told, and nobody is more capable than you. This is the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast, the future #1 weight loss podcast in the world. I am your host, Donato Russo. I hope you enjoy the show today. If this is your first time here and you enjoy the show, please subscribe and spread the word of the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast wherever you are and to whomever will listen. If you'd like to connect on social media or wherever else, check out my Linktree page, Linktree/the Ranting Weight Watcher. Let's connect today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you may be listening, thanks for making me part of your day. This is episode 226 of the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast. Before I get started today, I want to tell you guys about a great promotion going on. If you are listening to this podcast and found it some other way besides already being a member of WW, and you have been thinking about becoming a member of WW, there is a promotion going on that is 60% off. I repeat, 60% off. And the one catch in all of this is you're committing to 11 months, or I'm sorry, 10 months. No, wait, it's 11 months. You're committing to 11 months up front, but hey, listen, 60% off and you're giving yourself 11 months to actually create some kind of success here. I think that's a great idea. I mean, who doesn't want to save money if they're going to do it anyway, right? If you're going to become a member, why not save 60% in the process? If you are interested, if this is something you've been thinking about, in the description below this video is going to be a link that will get you that 60% off. Click the link, sign up today, and you are on your way. So, with all that said, let's get into this! Journey updates. Weigh-in this week was March 29th, 2025. Current weight is 222.6 pounds. That is a 2-pound loss. And total pounds remaining to get to my goal of minus 200 is 27 pounds. My work stats for the week of March 23rd through March 29th are as such. So I had a few days off, so the numbers are going to be way up this week, right? Total steps taken between these dates, 98,876 steps. Average steps per day, 14,125. Total miles walked, 42 miles. That's an average miles per day of 6 miles per day. I would call that a great week. And you know what the crazy part about all this is? On Saturday, if you saw my walking video, I was counting on gaining weight. I thought for sure, because I had a few days where I just ate a whole bunch of extra calories. There wasn't really anything taken in that would anybody would consider bad choices, but I just ate more of what I already eat. And so it equates to probably around 600 or 700 extra calories taken in. And in spite of that, I show a loss of 2 pounds. I can't honestly tell you that I trust this weigh-in. I am very skeptical of the scale. This is why I try not to put any value in it whatsoever. Whether it goes up, whether it goes down, my reaction is the same. Because I told you guys in my walk videos how many times. Whether you are at goal today, whether you are still working to get to your goal, or whether you are surpassed your goal, either way, you have work to do. And the only person that could do that work is you. So whatever the scale result is, whether you're happy about it, sad about it, or indifferent about it, or furious about it, The faster you get from the emotion involved to the work, the better off you'll be. And that's how I have probably handled, man, I want to say I'm 6 years in, probably 3.5 years. I have been really living this, right? 3.5 years. It's been a hard work to get to this point. And to sit there and not try to make big deals out of losses, regardless, that's probably one of the hardest things you'll ever learn to do if that is something you're trying to do. But it is what it is. This is how I handle my journey. People might agree with it. People might not agree with it. The one thing I could say is it's motivated by something. And when I had gastric bypass back in 2004, in 1 year, I lost 183 pounds. So in October of 2004, I had the surgery. And before the end of 2005, I was 183 pounds down. I became extremely relaxed and extremely arrogant in my success. This all contributed to a slow climb back upwards toward my original weight. It took 15 years, but literally 15 years later, I was staring at 57 pounds away to my original weight. And had I not really, that morning, had I not said, hey, let's get your head out of your ass and get to work here, I would have probably surpassed the 460 pounds and been even worse. And God only knows if I'm even here. That's the God's honest truth. Because to be 460 once in your life and then to have the surgery and all that stuff, but to achieve it twice, to be over 400 pounds twice in your life, it's got to be worse the second time around. A lot of people don't realize this. When you lose a lot of weight very quickly, your body's weight loss is more so muscle than it is fat. People don't like hearing that, but it's just the truth. And I would bet a year's salary that original weight loss in 2005 was overwhelming majority my muscle mass, not my fat mass. I'm not saying that there wasn't any fat mass lost. I'm saying the majority was muscle mass. When you guys lose weight via cardio and you're not doing any strength training whatsoever to build up muscle, you will lose muscle, fat, and water at the same time. You won't have a choice in between them. But if you are strength training, you know you're building that up and still with the possibility of fat loss and water loss and whatever else, right? But it is what it is. I try not to put any value in this, and I don't know that I trust it. I'm fully expecting the scale to go right back up. I don't know that. I mean, I feel like it's an anomaly, all right? There's just no way I ate that much food and it doesn't show up. It just doesn't make sense to me. But I'm not going to sit here and dwell on it. I'm talking to you guys because this is a show that discusses my journey, and I'm being transparent with how I feel about the weigh-in. So I don't know if you noticed, but over the past few weeks, since I returned in 2025, I have been preparing you slowly but surely to not necessarily become, or not necessarily to lose weight, but to prepare you to become the greatest version of yourself and have weight loss be the byproduct of what you're doing. The weight loss comes as a secondary result of you working on you. Okay? This is what I've been preparing you for, because that's really the mentality necessary. You create small goals. You achieve small goals. Every time you achieve a small goal, your confidence goes up. Your will goes up. Because if I could do this, I could do more. Right? And that's how it happened with me. I'm just telling you, everything I talk to you guys about is how things happen for me. Right? It's not about this is going to happen for everybody in the speed that it happened for me. It's not all about that. It is simply that if you are working on becoming the best version of you, the result of weight loss will come at some point, and it will be a byproduct of becoming the greatest version of yourself. The last few weeks have been all preparing you for this. Last week, I'm going to recap a little bit. I talked to you about the fantasy that it is possible to be perfect. I also talked to you about the delusion that perfection is required. I also told you that I have never been perfect a single day on plan for the entire 6 years. And I created real success because I understand that consistency, even if imperfect, is better than the occasional moment when you are perfect. I'll say that again. Consistently imperfect is better than the occasional moment when you are perfect. What is it? And I talked to you about what it takes, what consistency actually looks like, and how imperfect it actually is, and how it takes a whole lot of effort just to stand back up and keep going. Like you're riding a horse, the horse knocks you off, and the idea that you have to get back on that horse, otherwise you'll never get back on a horse. It's the last thing on your mind. You fall off the horse, you fall head first, and you're just sitting there like dazed and confused. But the goal in that moment is if you don't get back on that horse right away, you're never going to get back on that horse, right? And that's what it is to be consistently imperfect. That's what it is. The distance and time it takes you to mess up and to get right back in it is how consistency is built regardless of your imperfection. I talked all about this last week. This podcast over the past 4 years has concentrated on the behaviors necessary. The behaviors necessary to create success. Because I know that being consistent in the behavior that brings success eventually brings it, even if it doesn't come when you think it should come. That's been the entire layout of this podcast. It has been the one concentrating, because I know how to build your mindset. People believe that, they say it all the time, I got to work on my mindset. There is no working on your mindset. The one way your mindset gets built is by doing everything you said you were going to do. It's not by reading self-help books. It's not by listening to podcasts of people that are making you feel motivated. No. None of it. You could read a ton of biographies of people that have achieved crazy things in weight loss, and it won't help you any way, shape, or form. Do you know that there are studies right now that people who watch reels, like when you go on Instagram, when you go on TikTok, you see these reels and you see transformations, right? You see somebody start off obese, morbidly obese, and in 90 seconds, you're watching an entire journey with some really dramatic music and all of this stuff, and by the end of it, you feel so inspired, it's the most incredible thing you've ever seen in 90 seconds. There are studies that prove that in that moment, when you reach the climax of that 90 seconds, the same dopamine that the person who achieved all of this received for achieving it is being received by you for watching it. And the detrimental thing is when you get a dopamine hit will make you very relaxed and so what ends up happening is where you started all this, it's so inspirational. He's so motivating. All of these things you were feeling about 45 seconds, 60 seconds in. All of it is gone in 90 seconds because the dopamine releases in your brain. And we're going to talk a lot about dopamine today. And Look, quick disclaimer. This podcast, what I'm going to talk about today, is going to sound very condemning. I assure you, this is not to condemn you. This is to put you on your guard. Because nobody sees the big picture. Nobody sees the entire journey from a 40,000 foot view the way I do. And nobody can describe what is seen the way I do to you. Because I know seeing the big picture is more important sometimes than seeing what's directly in front of you. Because what's directly in front of you is a distraction. And it is up to you to recognize the distraction. So, disclaimer, it's going to sound like I'm condemning you today. I assure you, I am putting you on your guard. You're going to take this how you will, but I am putting you on guard for what is to come. But I talk about behavior all the time. So today I'm going to talk about a behavior that I rarely ever hear mentioned in a workshop or in any case. I don't even know if people realize they do this. And it is, to be honest with you, the only reason I know people do it now is because I'm 6 years in and I'm looking back on my own journey. And I could see myself in a lot of people. And I could see my own journey because the truth is there. We all have events in our life. And we have to navigate those events every year. Weddings, funerals, holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, those things never stop. And the one thing I could say is when you're sitting in a workshop as often as I do, and you're just listening and observing other people, you could see that on a regular week, the majority of the people will never put the effort in on a normal week that they put on a week where something's happening. You could see, okay, I got a wedding on Friday. I got to figure out all my point. I got to have a plan. I'm going on vacation. I got to have a plan. I'm going to a party of any kind. It's Christmas. It's Hanukkah. It's whatever. All of this emphasis goes into how you will control yourself, 10, 15 days into the year? I'll give you 2 weeks. How about that? 2 weeks out of the year, randomly spaced throughout 365 days, you put more effort into planning those days than the rest of the year. So we got 350 days left and not an ounce, not a fraction of the effort goes into planning those days, then goes into the ones where there's some sort of event that scares you. And part of the behaviors I try to point out to people and try to fix is if you concentrated on the 350, the 16, you could completely blow it, or the 15, you can completely blow it, and it won't matter. Because all of your effort is in the rest of the year. If you put as much effort into the rest of the year that you do those rare occasions that happen every year, and they aren't going anywhere, let's be honest. They're not going anywhere. You're never going to not have a funeral. You're never going to not have an anniversary. You're never going to not have a birthday. You're going to have something to go to, something to do. And a lot of my audience is retiree. So you don't even have to have a special thing. It could just be Tuesday and a bunch of your friends are going out to dinner. But the effort is in all of those special occasions and almost no effort whatsoever in the rest of the year. We put so much effort into those special days. But what happens, And this is what I want to talk to you about today. This is what I want to put you on your guard for. What happens when food becomes the event? What happens when food becomes the event? There is, you know what? I'm not going to play it. I don't want to bring attention to people, and I wasn't going to show her face anyway, but there was a reel on TikTok, and my heart goes out to that person. And I could see that she's having a bigger problem with my talking point than she is thinking about what it is that is going on actually, right? She is trying to live a healthy lifestyle while surrounded with friends that aren't so concentrated on it, right? And so they're calling her up and they're saying, let's go out to eat, let's do this, let's do that. And she is not physically strong enough to handle moments like this. So she feels like she has the choice of time away from people you love because you're essentially annihilating, man, forget it. You're just alienating yourself. You're alienating yourself from the situation because you don't know how to handle the situation. And I'm on the top of that list. I did that during my time after post-op. I alienated myself. I separated myself from all of my friends because I was terrified I would do something wrong. Terrified. I wasn't prepared to handle life post-op. Not prepared at all. And so I separated myself from all of my friends, all of my family, as often as possible. And then the times I would choose to go, it would be out of desperation to go. Like just wanting to be around people. But the world we live in is so food-focused, it's like you can't get away from it. The event centers around the food. It's never just let's all get together. It's about where are we going to eat when we get together? What are we going to eat when we get together? Who's cooking when we get together? I'm not telling you to get together and not eat, but I'm telling you that's where the focus is. And it makes you feel like you're making a choice between the best version of you and your loved ones. That's what it does. And for a while, for me, choosing myself was more important. But it's a very lonely road. Success in general is a very, very lonely road. Nobody will understand unless they are chasing some sort of success. It doesn't really matter what the subject matter is. Losing weight, becoming the best salesman, owning your own business. It doesn't really matter what the goal is. They are all equally alienating. Because when everybody thinks it's important to get together and have a good time, you're too dedicated to building the business you're building. When everybody is planning what restaurant they're going to go to because a new one opened downtown, and you're saying, no, I can't go because your health is more important to you than going to that restaurant, this is a very lonely life. This is all success. All success. You could be writing a book. You could be making a movie. You could be opening a business. It doesn't matter. It is a very lonely road to create success. But in our process here, we go to this point where we're so strict and so hyper-focused on controlling every little thing, then we become fed up. We become fed up, and you start to say, like, I'm giving up my friendships for this. I have to find some sort of balance. So you do what I did. You start to go out with them. And the focus is entirely on me when I went out in these cases. Seeing that a quarter of the burger, like split the burger in 4 pieces, I was only able to eat that portion and a couple of fries. And to never mind the fact that that's totally the worst thing I could choose, okay? 2 things I'm battling with as I'm eating that. The first thing is everyone looking at you and saying, that's all you can eat? Are you serious? That's literally all you can eat? You're full right now? That's the focus on you. And all you're trying to do is be with them, but all of their focus is how different things are for you. And the other thing that started to compromise myself is seeing how much money I spent on this food and saying, oh, I got to eat a little more. I got to eat a little more. And then I started to cheat the system. I learned really quickly that if it became a 3-hour event going out to this restaurant, and when you go out to with friends, a lot of the times you choose a restaurant, you could be there for 3 hours easy, right? So I get my food, I eat a quarter of it, and I wait an hour, and I could eat another quarter of it. I'm going to be there 3, right? And I wait another hour, and I can eat another quarter. So because the sensation of fullness goes away that quickly, I'm able to now eat 3/4 of the burger that I could only eat a quarter of. And let alone the fact that it's a poor choice to go in the small pouch anyway. This is the beginning of the compromising of my journey. What started to happen after this is what I want to talk most about today. Having the taste of these things again in my life started to give me cravings. And you started to hear a lot from me like, you know what I'm in the mood for? You know what I'm in the mood for? I'm really in the mood for this. This is the moment where we are starting to sabotage our own journeys. People don't understand the dopamine cycle. You don't understand it. Dopamine is something released in your brain that creates a euphoric feeling, right? And it comes from intercourse. At the climax of intercourse, you have this euphoric feeling at the end of it. That is dopamine going through your body. But they realized very quickly that they could have you release dopamine in a number of different ways. And so let's say you're looking at a commercial on TV and it's some barbecue place and you're looking at some baby back ribs and you're like, oh my God, look how delicious that looks. And you start thinking about it and you think about it. And you know, if you tend to watch the same channels, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they have the same commercials. And you're seeing the baby back ribs all week long. And it's building, and the excitement is there. And you start telling people, you know, I'm in the mood to go and have some baby back ribs at whatever place. I'm really in the mood for it. Social media. You make a post on social media. Every like on that post is a dopamine release. This is why people become addicted to social media. Every like that pops in, and you see, if you watch people addicted enough, you will see, oh, I got 50 likes on this post. And then their entire worth goes to shit when they see they only got 2 likes on some other post. Dopamine is getting attached to the like. And they said that even more dopamine is released on a comment. So likes give you a little bit of dopamine. Comments give you more dopamine. So this is where that saying comes from. When people say chocolate is better than sex, it's because you're literally building it up all week. I'm really in the mood for some chocolate. I'm really in the mood for some baby back ribs. I'm really in the mood for X. And you're dwelling on it. You're meditating on it. And meditating is a strange word to use in this, but think about it. If it's constantly on your mind, it's meditating on it. I told everybody that when I lose 200 pounds, I want a Jeep Wrangler. Do you know, because I'm so obsessed with Jeep Wranglers, how often I see Jeep Wranglers on the road? It is there because it's present in my mind. My mind is programmed to look for and find a Jeep Wrangler because that's how badly, since I'm 16 years old, I've wanted a Jeep Wrangler. 16. And I'm 47. You can program yourself to see the things that you want so badly. And this all contributes to the buildup of dopamine. And then you finally go to the rib place. And you have that first bite of the baby back rib. And your eyes close. They roll, your eyeballs roll in the back of your head because it's just that good. In that moment, that baby back ribs, that chocolate bar, whatever it is that you have been building up is just as good as intercourse. You are probably releasing even more dopamine just because of the whole buildup of the idea that you will eat that. When you do this, and this is where I want to put you on your guard, when you build up a moment like this, you're creating a cycle because there is a neural pathway. Think of a bridge between whatever releases dopamine in your brain to your tongue. Think of a bridge, right? And so you've been building up this moment all this time, and you finally have a baby back rib sitting on your tongue. The signal is sent to your brain, and the dopamine is released. That pathway will never go away. The amount of work it will take to get rid of that pathway is astronomically harder than creating it. Astronomically harder. And people create dopamine pathways with alcohol, with pornography, with drugs, both recreational and prescription, and food. And I already told you about social media. The more neural pathways we create, the more difficult we make our journey. The more cycles we create. Cycles of behavior, it doesn't just have to be one, okay? It could be many different cycles that all work together to ruin your journey. But the one common denominator in them all is dopamine. The dopamine pathway involved that was created in the buildup, in the meditation, in the talking about. You're sitting there talking to your coworker. I'm so in the mood for some baby back ribs. Oh my God. Oh, do you remember the German chocolate? Oh, I really want some of that German chocolate right now. Unbelievable is the neural pathway created that releases dopamine for these instances, creating instant addictions. And you did nothing wrong, really. In anybody's eyes, they would say, oh, that's no big deal. Who cares? It's baby back ribs. It's no big deal. But this is the beginning of a cycle. Because once you please or create the dopamine hit, you start chasing dopamine hits. And this is how you go from, I'm doing so well in my journey, to what happened to my journey. That's what I'm trying to prevent today. I'm trying to prevent, if I could prevent one of you from creating that moment that I created 15 years after, on January 4th, 2019, when I stepped on the scale and I was 57 pounds away from my original weight, if I could prevent that moment in your life and get you to recognize that there is a destructive pathway to behavior that needs to stop. And not only does it need to stop, it is going to be the most difficult thing you ever do. And this is why people struggle and they try to alienate themselves away from it altogether because they just don't know how to deal with it. And maybe there is a time where alienation is got to be part of it. I don't know. I could tell you it's what I did. I could tell you I ruined myself for it. I could tell you I did it again in 2019. I alienated myself from a lot of things. Not everything, but I alienated myself. I mean, think about all of the things involved with WW. They give you those weekly points, those extra points that you can gather together and go for walks and build up some. And you could say, oh my God, I'm going to use all of my points for those baby back ribs. I got to have them. I've been building it up all week. And you know what? There won't be any guilt because literally that's the way the system works. You are creating points to spend them on what you want. I'm not telling you it's a bad thing to do. What I'm telling you is the buildup is destructive. The buildup is creating a dopamine pathway that will never be satisfied. Even after you have it, the satisfaction that comes from that moment is quickly lived, and the next thing gets added. Oh, what am I in the mood for next weekend? So it ends up being like, okay, every Saturday we go out. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. We go out to dinner every Saturday night. If you watch from a 40,000-foot perspective, eventually it becomes Saturday and Sunday that you're going out to dinner. These are the things I'm trying to put you on your guard for. These are the things, if you notice that you have, if I'm talking to you about something and you're like, oh my God, I do that. Now is the time to start thinking about how do I end this cycle? Because dopamine chasing will never allow you to get to where you're going. Never. Because once you get that taste, it ends up being a full-out binge. This is where binging comes from. Getting the taste. And I'm not telling you guys to give up everything. I'm telling you that the behavior of building it up in your mind is contributing to the destruction that comes after. It's not just what choices you make after. It's the choices you made before. All of that buildup, all of that excitement in regard to food, in regard to alcohol, in regard to whatever the subject matter. All of it is destructive in the end. The emotions attached to everything are the key to the dopamine. They're the key. For everybody, this is good. This process is going to be different. And it's going to take restriction. And you could start that restriction slowly over long periods of time. I tell you guys to make steps in 8-week increments. If you're retired right now and you're listening to me and you eat out 4 or 5 times a week, for the next 8 weeks, you're eating out 3 times a week. It could be that simple. It could be that simple. Or you're going to go out to eat, but you have to guarantee that one of those times you go out to eat, the food you order is going to be the same thing you would have cooked at home. It's not going to be something you're in the mood for. It's going to be something your body needs to be successful. I can only give you the map. It's up to you to use that map and take it wherever you want to go. So, do you allow the cycle to continue? Or do you start taking steps to end the destruction and put yourself on your guard from the dopamine-induced euphoria that destroys your entire journey? Again, I can't make you do this. Becoming the greatest version of you is entirely up to you. And there's nothing I can say that makes it worth it. You have to love yourself more than you love your excuses. That's the real thing here. You got to love yourself more than your reasons not to do it. You got to love yourself more than the opinion everybody's going to have because you haven't been hanging around. That may sound harsh. Like, oh, Don, you don't know how it is. But I can't, like I said, you have to be more valuable than everything going on around you. I made a choice to make my life more valuable than everything because I have a daughter that I don't want to leave fatherless. I have a daughter that I don't wish is looking for a new father in her teenage years like me. That's why I started all this. That's why I'm here. And so my love for my daughter, my love for myself has to be higher than the dopamine hit that's going to come from going out to eat. From the disappointment that my friends are going to have because I can't go. I can't go. I have to love myself more than that. And you do too. You do too. I can't stress this any more than it is. I'm going to continue pointing at things that come up in the journey that help you to stumble. It is up to you to create a plan. I gave you the skeleton. I gave you the skeleton that will work to change your life. It's time to make the rest of your life the best of your life. Do what is easy and your life will be hard. But do what is hard and your life will be easy. Get to work. You are worth it and you are enough. There is nobody on this planet that is more capable than you. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.